This is a new category. So we have hit, miss, maybe, and kill it with fire.
I like that the spin. My favorite part here is that all the text on the dial, whether it's the numerals on the bezel or the Spinnaker logo, is in the SpongeBob SquarePants universe font. That for me,
that's amazing.
Makes it difficult for me to not like this. It's like as
That's
bad
true.
as some of these watches can be at times. They're cheap as hell. They make you smile, and they somehow get half. They get like half the details right. Other half, I'm not so sure.
We're going to start the full show now. So, as those of you who tune into this show may know, if you've been listening for a long while, that we would normally need to clap in order to set the audio. Can't believe I have to keep explaining this joke. We don't need to do that anymore because of, technology and stuff. But we thought we quite like the clapping. So we thought we would find something to clap about each week. Obviously, the technology let us down last week because I wasn't on the show for about the first 20 minutes. But we thought we'd find not the worst piece of marketing, just the most sideways piece of marketing and give it a round of applause each week. So this week it goes to this from the Sowind Group. And Sowind is Girard Perregaux and Ulysse Nardin. And this is them celebrating winning Switzerland's best managed company, because that's what you want to hear from your watch brand
What's the
marketing
criteria
department.
for this?
Don't know.
Who
And
are
what do you
probably
get?
running?
Do more people want your money?
My guess is that soon as Deloitte did the awarding, that it's being a customer of Deloitte's, I imagine is right up the top there.
But it's not Deloitte. It's Deloitte Private, which we know is not normal
Yes.
Deloitte.
I did particularly like this, describing themselves as a human-sized company.
Oh.
What the hell does that even mean?
Not quite sure.
Deloitte
But
Private made up that term.
But I believe it is worthy of a round of applause. So we will start our show with a round of applause to Sowind Group for being second year in a row one of Switzerland's
awarded by Deloitte Intimates.
Yeah, but it's one of Switzerland's. It's not Switzerland's actual best managed company. It's just one of Switzerland's. You know how you get invited to award shows?
We're at the bottom of the
get
mountain
an
here.
award.
One of.
And if you buy a table at the dinner, then you get an award. That feels like a bit of this. But anyway, congratulations
Does having
to Patrick.
two brands yet one booth at Watches and Wonders, is that one of the things that they were recognized for?
It's the best management possible.
Half of your cost.
Efficiency.
Peak management.
Anyway, well done to Sowind Group. Congratulations. That's time for solo this week. Congratulations. So there we go. If you have some marketing that you think we should give a round of applause to at the beginning of the show, then do send in your nominations to podcast@aBlogtoWatch.
I also want to stress that despite them sending that letter, we still don't know what they actually mean.
Well, yes. I mean, yeah, it has no
Reassuring
context.
to shareholders, Oh,
They're private, remember?
well, it's reassuring to, I guess, the board or whoever.
That's one of the things. We're like, who's this for? It's not for watch media. It's not for people who buy these watches. Who is this for?
Are you a manager?
It's to let
It's just for manager enthusiasts.
It didn't say we're hiring. What? Who is this for?
Well, maybe it's to reassure customers. If a company's well managed, it's on firm footing, and that super complicated piece you got that may or may not actually work through the duration of its warranty, at least you'll be able to send it back. So if a good managed company, go ahead and get that outlandish timepiece. They probably will be able to fix it when it inevitably stops
working. Why can't they just say we have a Swiss certified boring administration department?
That's the COSC's job,
Because
right?
everybody does.
Oh. Well, okay. Then they all deserve to be one of the best. You remember when
they are.
When I learned this last year, I think, and it was the number of companies who are allowed to say their products are Swiss made was like just over 300, which is not nothing, but like not in the thousands.
Okay.
So
And how
when they
many of
say
them are
like
watch
one
companies?
of, there's really not that much competition.
Yeah, how many
And
companies
they're
are there in
all watch
Switzerland,
brands,
really?
apparently. I'm just thinking about the number of Swiss-made watch brands that say they're Swiss-made.
Like, what do you have to do to not be one? Like, respond to the email and be like, would you like to be selected as one of the best managed ones? Respond now for consultation. And they were like, we love that idea.
I'm just waiting for the collaboration watch between Uzi Nardan and Deloitte's, the most boring accountancy watch.
The Deloittegraph.
The Deloittegraph. The Deloittegraph.
It's delightful.
Okay, olive oil.
Up until this point, I wanted to get all my time back from this discussion, but Delightful has just decided.
Delightful's done it. Delightful makes it worthwhile. You see, we knew there was a point in this conversation. Right, let's talk about some stuff on the website this week. Ariel, according to Ariel, what's Ariel one of Switzerland's best of? What do you think? One of Switzerland's best Ariels, Ariel Adams. Luxury
not
watch
Swiss.
brands, not Swiss. Well,
You're about as Swiss-made as a lot of Swiss-made things.
Way less.
Luxury watch brands strive to make desirable objects, but consumers just want competitive products. Discuss.
This is part of a larger series of discussions I'm having about some of the strange conflicts between the people who sell watches and the people that buy watches. I like to identify where there's areas of non-harmony, because ideally the people who are buying the things are buying exactly what the people making them, are creating, and there's synergy. And we have that in some industries, more or less. But in watches, increasingly today, the big box luxury names seem to be selling a package that a smaller and smaller number of people actually want, at least that we know who are a part of the watch enthusiast community. And brands like to talk really big about sort of the mainstream. But when it comes to expensive watches, my question now is what mainstream? Your middle class income luxury buyer has all but disappeared. The ultra rich is not mainstream because they're being marketed to buy watches again and again and again and again. There isn't like a lot of new ones. It's you're rich, we know you, we're trying to sell you watches constantly. So they're no longer mainstream because they're very familiar with the product area and they know that there's a lot more expensive stuff out there than Omega. So if they really want to just rich stuff, they'll get much more exclusive things. So the product that a lot of these companies are trying to package is in a lot of ways decreasingly different from what it is, or increasingly different from what it is that watch collectors are looking to buy, which is competitive products. And we almost idealize and look with an enormous amount of nostalgia at these eras, the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, where the wristwatch market was very competitive. And all these companies that still exist today, they were making like the best products they could. They were trying to like beat one another in like inventions and innovations and good prices. And it like was nothing like today. And people still miss that era because it doesn't exist anymore. So this discussion really gets to the heart of one of the problems. And that is that these big brands, especially the publicly traded ones or the ones that the decision makers aren't really per se interested in, they're not like sharing in the profits. They have other metrics. They're looking at like brand desirability. It's almost like stock desirability, where like, equities and things like that. It's really not about the performance of the company. It's something larger about desirability. And these publicly traded companies think that these watches and the products they sell should be like the stock. It's not really about how they perform. It's just how desirable they are and how much people want them. That's enough for us to create wealth. And so they start to do that to their brands. And that's very different than what people want to buy, which is not just desirable brands and exclusive products, but ones at the end of the day have substance. And we see a lot of rebellions in the market where people are going after these brands for just indiscriminately raising their prices and quality not being what they promise. You hear about all this sweatshop labor, or rather than it being highly paid artisans, it's, illegal immigrants make something in poor conditions. And so those are not competitive products. Those are poor quality products or mediocre quality products, or just not luxury products, but painted with sort of a luxury veneer. And so this article really talks about that core conflict of mentalities and incentives.
So what watch brands are there any premium watch brands, let's say anything above £2,000, that are actually trying to be price competitive as part of trying to sell watches?
Sure, the answer is always yes. There's always some. I may not be able to name them all. No perfect exemplar might come to mind.
Then get your son on here, and let's see if he can name them all. He's clearly going to get better at this than you are.
I think Tudor is a good example of a brand. I mean, they can't exceed Rolex in terms of the price point, so there very much is a ceiling that they can operate within. But because of that, they're still a premium product. They're not making like $700 watches, so they do kind of have a pretty narrow range to play in. Obviously, there's probably some Tudors that are eclipsing the very, very least expensive Rolex, but it's a pretty narrow sort of mid 4-figure range. But you look at what Tudor's offering, whether it's the master chronometer specs, and then you look at the other watches, in this case, namely Omega, that's doing that. And they are very intentionally apples to apples kind of undercutting what the Omega equivalent is. If you want a 3-handed vintage leaning diver with the master chronometer certification, you have the Omega Seamaster 300, or for a solid chunk less, you have a Tudor. They're never going to outprice themselves compared to Rolex. They also aren't going to cheapen the general brand by releasing like a $1,000 watch. So I think Tudor's one that really sort of minds the price and is releasing a competitive product. And I think we all agree they make a solid watch. It may not be the one we want to buy for them ourselves, but if you look at other things at that price point or other things that offer that spec, Tudor usually represents a pretty good value for the money.
So you genuinely think somebody in Tudor, when they're doing these, other than knowing the range in which their watch is going to be, says, actually, let's look at the Omega that we think's equivalent. Let's make sure we're $500 cheaper than that. Because I don't see
it's
them.
More than 500. I mean, like, it's a solid chunk less. It's not like, do I like Omega's designs or Tudor? Are we splitting some hairs on a bezel material or something like that? It's a solid chunk less. They're very much there to kind of sit sort of undercut Omega, and that sort of keeps Omega playing against Tudor while Rolex is free to be Rolex.
But how does that work when none of these brands ever say that? Like, it's they need the consumer needs to figure it out.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily.
I would not look at any of these big brands. I would look at the smaller German brands or the little guys, the ones that charge like. Often no more than 10,000.
Stop a second, Ariel. Can we just observe? Those of you watching the video, David, what were you just drinking there?
Was it Prime?
It's a tea.
It's the most. Compare the jug to the size of your head.
I don't see it. I only see a small sliver.
If
it's just very close to the camera.
Yeah,
it's not that big.
If you need to,
actually, there is this effect that this looks huge, but actually it's just like.
Do you drink tea out of a thimble? I mean, come on.
It's half a liter. I'm not messing around. Well, you remember my Monster like mug or whatever it was.
I think if it was a beer, you'd have no issue. But if it's tea, what are you doing?
It's actually for beer, but
could you imagine drinking anything else that you order in the quantity of beer? Like if I just like randomly ordered a Coke or an iced tea or milk in like a 24, 36 ounce quantity, a pitcher of milk like for the table, horrendous. But yet if it's beer, it's all okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for that distraction, but I was distracted. Ariel, keep going.
All I'm saying is that those brands that are making like the tools, the competitive tools, a lot of the smaller German brands do that. There's a few. The Swiss ones, I don't know. They shy away from the space. Usually they're just trying to be lower priced versions of more expensive Swiss watches. That's what lower priced Swiss watches tend to be a lot of. And there's a little, splattering of them all over the world. But again, I think the German watchmakers probably have the biggest consolidation. That's where you sort of see that mentality. And they're specifically like anti-marketing. Like they hate it. They do it begrudgingly. They usually don't do it at all. They're like, if you want to understand how cool my product is, you have to come find me and figure it out.
Yeah.
David?
That does happen. It's so strange. Sometimes it's so backwards. I'm happy that we are finally drifting a little bit further away from the brands acting like, oh, people will just look at us like as though we were gods, because basically that's what, how things went in the 2000s and even 2010s. So you could see people just fawning over these brands, doing the job of the marketing department and the brands themselves, the enthusiasts. And finally, now that this is going away and people are sort of burned out from all of this, and sometimes they felt betrayed, or they realized that sometimes these brands don't exactly follow through or are not necessarily worthy of these extremely high and consistently high praises that the community was giving them. Now this is like sort of a moment when things are frozen in time, right? And the brands have not yet figured out how do we talk to these people? How do we communicate about these products? It's very interesting, because I think the last few years have been the stalest, most boring, least creative or inspired time in watch marketing history. It's just terrible. Basically, the last couple of years.
The next article, which is going to come, which I've written but hasn't been published yet, has to actually do with what David's talking about, and that is what I call the redefinition of luxury. We all agree that we're buying luxury watches, but what luxury is, how you sell it, how you package it, what you want to pay for it. These are things that are not only actually changing in the market with consumers, but the way that brands are defining it. Omega is a perfect example. What they defined as a luxury brand a couple of years ago is like totally different than now. Like now, a luxury brand is like, I don't know, worn by a lot of young people on red carpets. Like that wasn't a thing. Luxury was like, having the dignity of having gone to the moon and still being taken seriously by that organization decades later. Like that was like luxury, right? Or like, being, a staple of, James Bond entertainment, always being there, well dressed. Like, and now it's just like, actually, I couldn't even articulate what their message is, but, it's a very expensive one. So they're trying to redefine luxury. What's that?
Yeah. Likewise with them. You can't define it, and neither can they.
Neither can they. But
I'm interested to read that article, because I'm very interested in the idea of that watches are one of the few products that can both be mass-produced and considered luxury at the same time. And I'm not sure that part of the whole high-end micro-brand, your Grubel Forzes and your, Mosers, etc., it is not, if you like, the elite fighting back, saying, actually, you know what, Rolex, it's not a luxury. Anyone can buy one if you have the right amount of money and you wait long enough. Well, you wait long enough. Anyone can buy a Patek for the same reason. But a Grubel Forze, as you saw this week, Grubel Forze announcing, there was an interview talking about how they don't spend money in marketing. It's all going to be about the consumer and the relationship, same with likes of A-Lang and Zona, etc. And whether
they better start working that relationship with us then.
whether it's being managed differently, and that actually the kickback is going to be, it's a bit like Ferrari. If you want to buy anyone can go in and buy a Lamborghini if you've got the money. Anyone with the same amount of money that would cost a Ferrari, you will not be able to go in and buy a Ferrari. You'd be able to go in and buy a Porsche. You might have to wait for it, maybe one or two models, but you probably couldn't even buy an entry-level Ferrari unless you knew someone, unless Maranello approved, etc. And I think it's possibly the same in watches, so I'll be interested to read that article. Right, last week we were set a challenge by David. Mostly the challenge involved pronouncing some Hungarian words. I don't know if anyone did the homework. And I have no idea whether this is correct. I'm guessing it's not. But
share your research with us, Rick.
Yeah, so the first
what are your findings?
So taupe, which is the first one, is either a Hungarian light tank or a trilogy of an
it's like Hungarian poem. Hercules, right? He's like a strong Hungarian
legendary. So is it this one a legendary strongman?
Yes.
Yes,
that's it.
Right,
the tank is named after him, I believe, for strong.
So which watch brand best matches Toldi, the legendary strongman? Not necessarily from Hungary. Well, doesn't need to be Hungarian. So
what was his greatest feat as Toldi? That would.
What about Tutima?
Tutima sounds Toldi like.
Tutima is a rather robust watch. That's true.
Has that aggressive styling?
What is the watch that you would least want to drop on your toe? And then once you figure that, then you know what is the Toldi watch.
Gold
Panerai,
Planet
Egyptian.
One of those like big 44 millimeter gold Tutimas. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Vostok Europe one that's like basically a pound on a bracelet. There's this insane Vostok Europe. Hold on.
All sharp edges.
So Toldi equals a Vostok. Okay, David, I think is about to stick it in the chat. Is that what you're aiming to do?
It's called the Vostok Europe Energia.
Energia.
Vostok Hungary.
Okay. Let's see if I can find it. It's not popped up. Have you put it in the chat? It's not popped up in my chat just yet.
Yeah. It's probably not available in the Western world. Hold on.
I was imagining Toldi as like a mid-2000s Breitling Avenger when they got like, it was like in excess of 20 millimeters thick, but like 500 meters of water resistance for no reason whatsoever.
Breitling for Bentley.
Well, less blingy. I don't know how.
Then a 47 mil Panerai. Again, going for my theory that all things can be related to Panerai. That is a 47 mil.
That's like all things can be related to carbon. Panerai is two things. It's easy.
All right. Okay. This is a stonker watch, right? I think David has obviously some inside knowledge here. The Vostok Energia NH35, proudly an NH35. That's a chunker. That's 48 mil, right? Okay,
look at it on the bracelet. That's the fourth picture. If you scroll down, no, to the left.
No, to the left a bit. Left. Oh, that one.
And the
right,
fourth,
okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow,
that's a chunky watch.
I mean, it makes the face of that watch in this picture looks like about a 38 millimeter, but it's only because the bracelet is clearly the size of a belt.
Well, in times of hardship, you can actually take the bracelet off and use it as a replacement tread for the Hungarian Toldi tank. So I think this is a very appropriate choice.
Yeah, I think that's a winner. So there we go. So the Toldi is most like the Energia from Vostok. Right, the next one you gave us
Vostok Europe. There's an important important distinction.
Important difference. Right. Ludus. Right. Okay. Ludus Machi seemed to be something to do with a goose.
Yeah, the Goose Boy.
Yeah, the Goose Boy. So I'm not sure what Goose Boy's.
Who's super vengeful because someone took his goose and beat him a little bit when he was a boy, and he vowed he would come back and beat the guy 3 times. And throughout that dude's life, he'd show up at different points apparently and just bestow an ass whooping. So who's mega vengeful and doesn't forget?
That's exactly what happened.
It's like the Hungarian cartoon Is it Downfall? The Michael, no, what was that? We've quoted this movie before wrongly. Michael Douglas. Is it Downfall? No, it's not called Downfall. Where he goes in and he just goes on a rampage. Falling down. Yes, he goes on a rampage because he can't get his burger after 11 a.m. His breakfast meal at Burger King or McDonald's. Right, so we have a vengeful. What happens to the goose? Does the goose die?
It's a happy end, of course.
It's a happy
end. They end up in a pillow. No.
The third beating, if I'm not mistaken, he has someone run off with the goose, so they end up chasing his friend with the goose, and then the guy who first took the goose is alone, then gives him his third beating. So it's a happy ending. He keeps his goose, and he beats the guy who took his goose originally 3 different times.
Right. Okay. So which watch brand likes delivering a kind of whoop ass, so to speak, every time someone else gets out of line?
Basically, this is like the underdog coming back around and just is this like vengeance.
Oh, Vortic,
like the underdog.
Or whoever won this lawsuit with the Swatch Corp, who tried to say they couldn't sell the Hamilton movement.
Vortic.
Yeah, Vortic. There you go.
Okay, so there it is. The
like
Ludashmati of watches.
Is the consumer being beaten, or is the brand here being beaten? It's the brand.
Who's doing
the brand being beaten?
Yeah.
Debregi in Ludashmati is this extremely powerful, big-bodied person who is.
Hublot gets beaten up a lot.
Hublot. Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah, they could repay 3 times all the abuse that they have received. I guess Hublot could be a Ludashmati as well.
There was some controversial news on Hublot this week.
Really? Was it that I did a podcast with the CEO?
If I can find it.
Did it involve the cat?
You know, it was this. This was finally revealed that there was actually between
who's making these
and ChatGPT between Hublot.
What is the prompt here?
The prompt is get Nico Leonard to hug the current CEO of Hublot.
It looks like he's supposed to be at a
shockingly
Coldplay
awful.
concert.
This is giving me nightmares, Rick.
Well, I mean, if you want nightmares, I can give you nightmares. If you want nightmares, we can do nightmares. For example, I mean, the most controversial one. Well, there was this. This is in the theme for those that aren't watching on the video of the famous hug that's been taking the internet by storm this week. I'm not sure really why. I think because it's been a perfect storm of a story and the ability for people just to create things on AI. I thought this was probably the most controversial.
Describe this picture, Rick, to the listeners, because people
Rick,
are listening and maybe not watching.
When AI rebels, this is going to be the reason. It's because of prompts like this. It
we are not worthy of AI.
Yes,
if we're using it for this purpose.
So this is Thierry Stern.
To me, that says the Russians are coming.
So that
to
is
buy watches?
No.
What imports or what?
To patriate our companies.
To patriate our companies. I'm just trying to find the one that was the most disturbing. Actually, this week I felt was
Thank
probably
you, Rick. That's a great prompt.
Was probably this one. I felt this was maybe the most disturbing one I'd seen this week, which is involved our very own Ariel Adams.
Wow.
And a gentleman from Hodinkee. I
didn't recognize Ariel in this picture. I was like, who's that guy?
It's just been
We're working on my dad here. Why are we in a sports game, by the way?
A big
and none of you are wearing watches.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's
is he standing on a chair behind me? What's going on?
Ben
Am I holding him? Am I walking around with
now.
him like my kid on my back or something? Like
I'm more concerned. I think there's possibly 5 arms in this photo, but I'm not really sure. So there we go. Anyway, right, back
I'm
to
seeing watch
Hungarian
hands. I can't see on a dial. I'm horrified. Those aren't watch hands.
My head hurts in a way that I never thought it
shout out to Fierce
could hurt.
Watches who cannot take good feedback about their watch hands, despite them being utterly invisible on the otherwise nice but overpriced timepiece. Had absolutely no positive reaction to can't see the dial. Just sort of looked at it and muttered, but we like it that way. No. You can't see the hand on the dial. It's done wrong. And if you can't admit that to someone when you're looking at it in person, well, then you have no sense of humor, sir.
Who was that?
Have you been upsetting Nick?
They're afraid of their own watches.
Afraid of their own watches.
Yes.
Where did you see this? Was this at a watch event somewhere?
Here in Los Angeles. Everyone else at that show is great. Having a chat with those guys, wow. They do not understand the informal luxury economy.
Oh dear, I'm not going to say anything. Anyway,
better luck next time, gentlemen. I'll give you another shot. This will be the 3rd or 4th time.
I think,
not the first time they're not able to take feedback. Total fear of rejection. I get it.
Okay, the final one. Some great reformer, apparently. Istvan.
Oh man, look at this guy's eyebrows.
Yeah, that's
no, those are extra mustaches in case there's a war and
he needs more mustache. Pronounce this gentleman for us.
Széchenyi István. Because we pronounce it in the other way around.
Oh, right, so it's the other way around. It's not Istvan Széchenyi. Right, okay.
So what brand's owner today would be most likely to dye his or her eyebrows?
Who's got the eyebrows? Who's the
best eyebrows?
Nick Hayek? No, he does not care to actually dye them.
What brand has 3 mustaches?
It's just got to be Blancpain.
This is a Blancpain, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this.
About this
the
greatest Hungarian.
Yeah, the greatest Hungarian.
The greatest watch brand.
He was very generous with his wealth.
Oh, Rolex, very generous with your wealth. You're going to buy Bucher to save it and then kill Karl F. Bucher all in one go.
Like, kill the brand.
He's going to Carl's going to come back for revenge.
I did like the idea.
He's going to have his own Scream style movie.
Riding a manta ray.
I I wanted some explanation of this, David, as Hungarian.
Yeah.
Established the Óbuda shipyard. Is Hungary not a landlocked country?
Wasn't
we have
always.
rivers.
We have rivers, so you establish a shipyard, but and then you build the
You
ship.
see the Danube Navigation Committee.
Oh, right, okay.
And open commercial shipping and trade from Buda to the Black Sea.
Right, okay.
Regulation of the flow of the waters of the lower Danube to improve navigation. Stuff like
We
that.
get it. The UK has actual shipyards, okay?
We have actual
very
no, we don't, to be fair. We don't have any actual shipyards. We all closed them down in Glasgow.
Were they all in
once
the
had-
Netherlands now?
Back when, so we
Taiwan.
once had an admiral, or something like that, which was a ridiculous thing.
And then you lost to
sometimes
Lucy
these
Nardon.
people, yeah, all kinds of
Quorum.
stuff. But this guy was great, and he was generous with his wealth, and he tried to do something great to a country. And I thought, that is an interesting thing. I did think of Rolex at some point, because. Yeah, I'm just not sure who else. I'm sure there are others that we could look at. Maybe a
Most
Longa,
generous
maybe
watch
something
brands.
like that. I don't know.
Okie doke.
This summer, soar into the wild blue yonder with Marathon, the Canadian maker of professional use watches. The SS Nav D Blue Yonder is now available. It's the first blue dial stainless steel edition of the combat-proven Navigator, originally developed in 1986 for U.S. pilots at Kelly Air Force Base. Housed in a steel case with a Parkerized finishing, this Navigator houses a Swiss-made, high-accuracy quartz movement. It's mission-ready and built to high standards. Self-illuminating tritium gas tubes and the hands and hour markers provide constant, low-light readability. Rounding out the striking blue colorway are a blue bezel and matching blue Swiss-made FKM rubber strap. Limited to just 500 pieces and never to be produced again, get your Marathon Navigator Blue Yonder watch before it departs for good. Visit marathonwatch.com.
Cool. So Rolex it is right for next week. On the back of the delightful thing from earlier on in the show, I want from Ariel 3 random American companies for next week that we've got to research.
What?
Just 3 random
Okay,
American companies.
whoa. You understand how difficult it's for me to narrow anything down. Okay.
That's part of the challenge. Just 3 companies.
You're literally telling me to choose randomly. I'm going to spend I'm traveling. Don't send me down a crazy data rabbit hole.
You need to do this now. You don't have any time to think about it.
A more precise prompt, okay?
No. The 3 closest companies to where you live, okay? Is there a 7-Eleven or are the 3 closest things at the side of a road?
Like the headquartered?
Just
Gas
a
station.
shop. Gas.
I don't know the
What if
corporate
it's
name
not
of the
an
taco
American,
stand, okay?
What if it's not an American gas company like Shell? Aren't they Australian or something?
They're Dutch, Royal Dutch Shell. Well, that's actually British, I think. But anyway, I'm asking the wrong person here. Should I have asked Ripley? Did I ask Ripley?
Yep.
Right, Ripley. 3 random American companies that myself and David and maybe even Ariel wouldn't have heard of. We've got to research them and
Wouldn't
come up
have
with
heard
3
of.
watch brands. Yeah, that aren't in Europe.
Okay,
And
well,
we've
I
got
toured
this-
a knife factory today, so we can look at ProTech knives. They have so many machines. Many Swiss manufacturers would be jealous of how many things are cutting metal over there.
Okay,
They're
cool.
heat treating metal,
I wanna
really
see
cool
that.
metal stuff down here in Southern California. So
Ariel,
yeah,
you could have been playing this game, Ariel.
I
but
want
you
to go to a
rejected us,
sharp
so
thing
Ripley.
factory.
oh, so many sharp things and beautiful things. They produce from like $200 to like thousands and thousands for the custom work. So ProTech knives.
Okay.
Is there any relation with ProTech watches?
No, but maybe the skate pads and helmets. I'm not really sure.
I mean, we know Barry is not a knife maker, so the answer is no, but I just think that's hilarious.
Yet. There's always room for the collab. Let's see. Let's do a beverage company. Golden Road Beer. There's a
Golden Road
one
Beer
right over here behind me on the other side of the river. And one you haven't heard of, right? Okay. We have so few companies that are actually American. I don't know.
Think of like a cool company that makes like chemicals or toilet paper.
Are they actually American?
They used to be.
What
They used
brand
to
is
be.
your
We
toilet
still
paper,
poison the
Ripley?
ground here a little bit. Come on.
I don't know. Is Crystal Geyser American? No, you probably
Crystal
have these
Geyser,
over
never
there.
heard of
There
them,
was
so that'll
never a
do.
geyser.
Oh, yeah, no, I know
Crystal
where these guys
Geyser.
export their water from. You see it if you drive up to Mammoth from LA. Yeah, Crystal
Okay,
Geyser.
so that's Protect Knives,
You're drinking it
Golden
now.
Road Beer, and Crystal Geyser. So if any of those companies would like to sponsor next week's show while we relate them possibly unfavourably to Swiss watch brands,
That's
then
what
do
this is
jump
about,
onto the chat.
sponsorship?
Yes,
I could use the
I
water,
like your sales
actually.
techniques. Let's just choose 3 random companies and then hope they hear of us.
Well, we'll put them in the social media. We'll tag them in, and then who knows what will happen? You never
Protect
know.
Knives has heard of us, actually. They
Well,
a
you
lot
were
of
at the
knife people
factory
like
yesterday,
watches.
so I'd
They
hope so.
knew of our work.
Everyone drinks water, so yeah.
Hey, right. Let's have a look at this week's flyback. Let's have a wee scroll down, see if there's anything fun to talk about. I quite like to talk about this Perle Lab Peripheral Salmon, just because I feel like I'm in a critical mood. It looks horrible. Why is this
This
even
is shockingly
close to
tasteful
worth?
for a Perle, if we're being completely
on
honest.
the one, it is like the end. It's like a collapsing into a neutron star. It is both so much better than what they normally produce, but also still absolutely awful. And I have no idea why it's worth.
Are you
$4,000.
comparing it to what? Other Perle lab
Perles?
watches?
I don't know.
Do you know the
I'm
lab
interested in
collection?
the peripheral rotor thing is interesting. The
Okay.
idea of showing you that from the front. But other than that, I'm really not sure what to make of this. Is there any redeeming features of this watch?
It looks like a
Apparently,
very complex case. Peripheral salmon sounds like a terrible molecular gastronomy dish, but it might be quite interesting in person with all of those lines and facets and angles and
It
whatnot.
does sound like a restaurant you don't want to eat at.
Peripheral salmon.
Peripheral salmon.
Let's not go there, honey.
It does sound like a
Perle Lab
Douglas
presents
Adams.
Peripheral Salmon in a
Yes,
centrifuge.
a Douglas Adams restaurant from Restaurant End of the Universe. Welcome to the Peripheral Salmon.
This is the best name for the year. I'm not sure if anyone's gonna top it until the end of the year. Peripheral
Okay, so
Salmon.
what
Who
I
is
heard-
so much
thing.
more excited about salmon than literally any of the other things with this exact same color?
Yeah, it is at least close to. What is it? Close to a salmon color?
Can we
I'm
tell
watching it
from
with
this
those fancy
render?
knives. Cut a salmon in half and find out.
See what it looks like. Anyway, so let's say it says there's more at Perle. Undoubtedly, that's true. The question
I
is,
want Perle to have
would we
that
want to
ad,
see
okay,
it?
where they get a bunch of salmons, they
dear,
Ginzu knife them in
okay.
half,
I've just,
and they're like,
I've just
look,
gone.
the color, it's our watch dial.
Okay,
Guts
I've
and
just
everything.
gone to the website. Prepare for now. It'll take a little bit of doing to get this to do this. When I first go, I'm going to the Perle website. I'm going to reload it very quickly, and this is what you're greeted to.
Oh.
In instant. Yeah, that's not good. Spinny things. Well, I mean, they can't get away from their spinny thing mantra. That's what they need to stop. Stop spinning things. It doesn't need to be spun. Leave it alone. Leave it in peace.
So
Just
what
let it sit there.
happens when the budget Karlev Bucharest no longer has Karlev Bucharest around to aim at?
You know, that's
Do
a
they
very
just
good point.
become budget or expensive? I don't get it.
Oh, I thought you were making the point that this does actually look like a Karlev Bucherer.
No, it is. I
movement does.
actually am
Yeah.
referring to that. I think that's their who they're aiming
That's it.
at. But now
Right,
the
okay.
leader is no longer there.
Mm,
So
mm.
the question is,
Okay.
They're just going to keep making the same designs that Karlev Bucher probably now has listed on Joma Shop or whatever. Forever. They're just going to keep recycling the same designs. They're going to be stuck in the rut.
it's like, I like that it's complicated. I just don't like that
Yeah.
there's nothing pretty about it at all.
Yeah. It is very complicated. Look at how many bezels there are. It's like,
There is
It's a lot of effort, no beauty of
Yes.
any kind.
You don't find the name Peripheral Salmon to be beautiful?
No, and it's thankfully not printed on the peripheral salmon dial.
It could only have been worse had they spelt peripheral with an F in the middle rather than a PH to make it kind of funky. We put a Z in there somewhere. Right, okay, that's Perle. Maurice Lacroix, I quite like this. The Maurice Lacroix 1975 Vague de Jura Vague.
Vague.
I quite like this. I do. I have a thing for the M logo on the Monster Qua, although it does look increasingly like it should be a collab with McDonald's restaurants.
It's a retro revival. That's really all it is. It's their anniversary watch.
Golden arches.
And this just looks like their first ones, for better or worse.
Yeah.
It is quite nice, the dial on this one. We saw a prototype in Geneva during Watches and Wonders week, and those kind of waves in the silver, it kind of looks like when you're looking at a fish underwater. It's a pretty watch. Like Ariel said, this isn't reinventing the wheel by any means, but it is a nice execution of it, nice proportions.
Good.
Why are some of these Swiss watch designers obsessed with looking at fish underwater? Whether it's a dive watch or scales, they're just obsessed with sticking their head under the water and looking at fish.
I don't know if that's what the theme was, but it does look a lot like that. So the salmon,
like 4
what
out
are we
of
talking about?
4 out of 10 watches they come out with are somehow related to bodies of water in Switzerland. Okay.
Well, every watch Horus makes is related to a body of water.
Of all these brands.
Do we have the price for this one in the article?
Yeah,
1,600.
1,600. Yeah, for 600 quid, I think that's not too bad. Not too
that's
shabby.
pretty good. Oh my goodness.
Right. Mido.
Every other watch rig that we are featuring today is giving me a headache of some sort, honestly. It's the fourth wave of headache from these.
I think that Mike is very unfair in criticizing bun straps.
I love bun straps.
I love bun straps too.
I love
bun
them.
buddies.
Yes, I was just wearing a bund over the weekend.
I'd put a limit there.
What is good about them? What is one good thing about them?
They're super comfortable, and they somehow look cool. It's like wearing leather cuffs. I don't know why. It looks cool.
For guys of a certain vintage, it's really cool. We like it. It's
I don't know why I like it. I just do. I'm not trying to.
Love.
And they are super comfortable. And I was like, that is a comfortable way to wear a watch.
It's never my go-to stylus strap. I don't dislike them, but I think it really is watch dependent. I don't know if this particular one needed a bund or a lot of things that are on it, to be fair.
And also it's got lots of, it's a world timer.
The bezel does not need to be there. That's got all kinds of wrong. The dial looks like a flag that says stop in your tracks and do not proceed any further.
And the way the hour markers line up, they're like negative space on the inner dial.
The green. Just look at the green things, I guess.
It's a little bit weird.
Someone got a high five for that dial design like 60 years ago.
It's just over $1,000. I think $1,000 I'd pay $1,000 for that bund strap, frankly. Forget about the watch. Just sell me the bund.
You can have them all. Entered the chat.
You know what? This is a watch I want. I want the guys at IFL watches to paint this dial and the bezel.
And the bund strap
all over it.
completely changed the watch, make it invisible. Well, talking of painting, this is a one sentence review. A theme I think we should introduce on a blog to watch articles is you should just be challenged once a week. There should just be one watch review, and the person writing is only allowed one sentence. And the one sentence on this Hublot Classic Fusion Essential Taupe is not and has never been essential. Priced at $8,900. I think let's get straight to the point. I think this is TikTok reviews. This is watch reviews for the TikTok generation. You're allowed one sentence, gentlemen. From now on, that's your word limit. None of this 2,000 word article stuff reviewing watch. Just give us a pithy one sentence review. However, I like this. Am I bad for liking this? Classic Fusion
it's unobjectionable, but on the heels of the Essential Gray, which was last year, it's like this one's just like the oxidized version of the one that was last year. Oh, you didn't like Essential Gray? How about like gray with a little bit of brown in it?
It's the essence of pate.
It just really is. I hate the word toupee anyway. It's just one. It's probably the worst word.
Toupee.
Taupe.
Taupe.
Do you prefer taupe or mocha mousse?
Toupee.
I love that they're getting away with charging nearly $9,000 for what is, a $1,300 watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Hublot, but the margins that they're getting with this. I mean, you remember when these first came out, they were like $5,000, and we're like, it's an Hublot, fine. Now, this is like, I mean, remember, this is the Submariner date, you know, and like, it's a lovely watch, but I'm sorry. I mean, you know, what else can you buy for this? Even amongst other snooty brands.
Yeah. It's expensive because they can get away with it. People go
bless
and
them
buy
if they can, but I am just maybe I'm old at this point, but I am shocked for what a classic fusion with, I don't know, is it a Sellita still? Like, what's in there?
Yeah, probably. More than likely. And
yeah.
I mean, if someone clearly feels taupe is essential, and I guess for that person, the $9,000 for the Sellita is worth it.
It's an amazing margin. Again, we like the design. We've always liked the classic fusion. It's just difficult for me to be like, yeah, that's Submariner money.
No, this is a good-looking watch. If some micro released it and it was like $1,500, I'd be very excited. But it's $9,000, so it's a categorically different
this
purchase.
is a good thing, and this is this is why I've never felt bad about all those like homage Panerais, because if your underlying watch is easy to replicate at a lower value, then you shouldn't be charging so much to begin with.
Okay, well, that was the essential taupe. This is the essential.
Run the conversation. Ariel complaining about value propositions again. Stop ruining the party. People love to pay a lot.
We like money. We like paying it. We like spending it. Benris Type 1 M1 in theme of taupe. Champagne dial.
Show me the hour markers.
For a die.
They're so raised up.
They're chunky.
It's just cold outside. Don't leave them.
You could use them. You could spin them on
I like the look. I mean, this is that classic military. I mean, I don't know who did this first. It was like some military, and Benris is doing it again. They're nice. They're nice looking. The quality is good. I haven't seen this exact color, but I've seen other color versions of it. The price isn't insane. I think it's got the ceramic bezel there. It's lovely, you know. But again, if you already have this design by like, I don't know, the other multiple brands that do it, you don't need another one.
It's okay.
Okay, I finally on here is some Frank Mueller.
These need some close-ups of those dials. Google this watch.
Let's see if we can get.
The Smurfette ones were worse, though, right? We agree.
I hadn't appreciated that was what the close-up of these dials was. Okay, let's go to
what's
no,
happening?
It's bunnies being bunnies, I think.
Yeah, bunnies making more bunnies.
Bunnies
in different
for the parents who really, really spoil their daughter. Apparently, that's who those watches are for.
All right, okay.
I mean, if you really spoil your daughter.
Well, it's for the person who wants an erotica dial, but like doesn't just want naked people. So if it's bunnies having sex on the dial, it's more palatable.
Are they copulating?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, they are.
Yeah. It's humping bunnies.
Okay, so scratch the daughter part there.
What are you
missed
talking
that
about?
crucial detail. I thought they were just bunnies being cute. Okay, that's still better than the Smurfette one.
Yeah. I would rather have one of these.
I like how I will allow for the roughly $13,000 erotic tax there.
Erotic tax.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Okay. Now, I was going to show some controversy next in the watch world, but as I go to the links have gone down. They aren't there anymore. Now, I posted earlier in the week to our little chat some stuff from the GPHG long list of watches. So GPHG have got their finalist lists out, like the long list, before they narrow it down. And on that
all that
list,
free labor from the contributors.
All that free labor. And on that list was the Moser watch, the digital Moser watch in the less than $5,000 category. But if you remember, the Moser watch is only available to be purchased with the $65,000 or $59,000 group effort. If I show you this, you get them both. You buy the Alpine Driver's Edition and you get the the little digital watch with it.
That's the least legible watch I've seen all week.
Yeah, so you get these two watches together, and they're only available. Part of the shtick of the sale is you can't buy them separately. You have to buy them together.
All of these give me a headache. How is this even possible? Look at those. It's literally everything is the exact same shape, geometry. You couldn't make this stuff up. If you gave the pitch to somebody like, look, how do we put like hands and like stuff on a dial that it.
Dave's having an episode.
Yes.
No, it's truly astounding.
Like
if we didn't know it was cool. 1010, we wouldn't know.
The digital one is cool. And I would buy the digital one if it was for sale separately, which it's not.
Smartwatch technology of circa 2015.
Yeah. However, they've entered it in the GPHG award as being available for under $5,000. Also, the numbers have changed. In the press release for this watch, they only make 200 pairs. But in the press release on GPHG, it says there's 500 of these digital ones.
Rick, I have a question. Are you reminding us that Moser or the GPHG are corrupt? Because we understand that there's corruption happening all the time here. Is this the corruption that you want to point out?
Somebody has done something, because now when you go to the link that I'd saved specially for this is what you get. And actually, you now cannot find on the GPHG website any of the 2025 entrants, whereas they were all published. There was Tudors and Bremen had about 3 entries, I think.
Good thing it's only you in the world, Rick, who ever checks that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It's only me that
You're
cares
trying to sneak a
or
discussion of the GPHG on aBlogtoWatch where you know we don't talk about it.
Ariel's
For
refusing
this
to let it
reason,
happen.
because it's a bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah, true. Yeah, anyway, there we go. So you can look at that or try
You
and
can get
hunt that
upset
down.
yourself on their website.
Yeah.
Ace Jewelers of Amsterdam and German watchmaker Nomos are back with another exclusive set of 50 pieces to help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the popular and dynamic retailer of horology. This is not the duo's first successful collaboration, with these new exclusive products being their 8th and 9th limited edition watches respectively. This time, Ace Jewelers and Nomos focus on 2 sizes in the Metro Neomatic collection, each with a distinct palette of Dutch aristocratic orange colors. For centuries, orange has signified some of the core values of Holland, including personal freedom, tolerance, pride, and overall good cheer. 2 distinct multicolor orange dials were created by the renowned designer Mark Braun for these new limited edition Metro Neomatic 35mm and Metro Neomatic 39mm models. Both of the watches contain Nomos' celebrated in-house made automatic caliber DUW 3001 mechanical movement, which are visible through the rear of the steel Metro Neomatic cases. Stylish and full of value, these are fine timepieces with a fun regional flair that can appeal to enthusiasts everywhere. With included free worldwide shipping, price for the Ace Jewelers and Nomos Metro Neomatic 50th anniversary limited edition watches start at €2,810, excluding taxes. Learn more at acejewelers.com.
Good stuff. Right, let's do, what time is it? Let's do some quick hit miss maybe. On our screen now, just released online from Ripley. Is this the Vulcan Skin Diver Chronograph, a watch? Ripley, tell us a little bit about this.
I mean, we always think of the Cricket. They've been dipping back into their back catalog in more recent years to sort of bring out some of the other models. And it's not always the hits. It's some of the more obscure ones. This is of the 60s, there were a lot of sport chronographs. This has all of the scales. So I think it was a couple years ago, they brought back their Skin Diver, but in the 3-handed format. Now you have the chronograph version. So they've added a 12-hour scale. This is pretty true to the design of their original, obviously modern materials, bit larger proportions, what have you. But this is pretty true to the design of the original. You get a 12-hour scale and a 60-minute scale on the bezel. I think you get a tachymeter and a decimal scale around the dial. And then, of course, it's a 30-minute chronograph. So you're never going to be using any of this stuff underwater, but it really is, it's a skin diver. So it's like a water-resistant, multi-purpose sports watch. 200 meters water-resistant, sub 40-millimeter case. It's thick, but the lugs make it wear pretty well, all things considered. And it has that unique bracelet, which those giant, flat, singular links on it.
Tell us what Inca block is that's written all over the dial.
Oh, the shock protection system. So you typically you can either have Inca block or KIF. It really just comes down to the little shape that sits above the sapphire cap over the balance staff and a couple other pivot points. Rolex will use Paraflex. Omega's got their name for it. They all pretty much perform the same function. But back in the day, a shock resistant watch was pretty cool. So they like to put it on the dial, and now they still do.
Yeah, Vulcan were famous, or not famous, but were always would put Inca block on their dials. Okay, right. Is this a hit, a miss, or a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Maybe, hit, maybe. David, why is it a maybe?
It's a maybe because it's old and dated, but it gives people who want an old and dated looking vintage watch the opportunity to buy one fresh out of the box and get it with a warranty and stuff. So I guess that's good.
And how much is it? It is just between $750 and $3,000, depending.
The pricing makes no sense on these, by the way. So they've got this silver one with a black bezel. It's the least expensive. The other core collection model is a black dial model with like some faux age lumen, some orange accents. It's a little bit more. I'm not really sure why. They've got 2 limited editions. I think one is like a meteorite dial. One has a salmon dial. And both of those are more expensive. They're all different prices, but ballpark it around like $3,000 for these.
Cool. Ariel.
I like the bracelet, and I think that there's a place for watches like this because I wouldn't recommend ever buying an original, and something new that has modern features and materials and construction quality is going to serve you way better. I liked Vulcan when they were crickets or extremes or extreme crickets. Beyond that, I don't really care. I feel like Nevada Grenshin's running out of, back catalog design. So they're just making this stuff now. Yes, it's basically the same person behind them, but I'm starting not to see anything different between the two brands. They're like the same thing at this point. And that concerns me a little bit. So I'm not particularly moved, though I do genuinely, I wouldn't tell anyone that got this that's the wrong thing. It's not terribly expensive. It's about as non-Swiss made a Swiss made watch as you could get, right? So there's that. Again, it's okay. It's not going to win any beauty design awards. It's again, for the person out there that wants a cool, quirky watch with some story that has some personality, this will make that person happy. But that person probably has, under 20 watches in their collection at that point. For people that have had a bunch of stuff, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of just oddities here. There's nothing inherently bad about it, but it's just, I don't know. It just looks like a Nevada Grenshin by another name, which is another brand I'm already exhausted from. So give me a cricket. Give me an extreme cricket.
Yeah, cricket extreme. Yep, good stuff. Ripley, after handling it, you give it a maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it wears quite nice. I like it. It's unobjectionable if someone just sort of wanted panda chronograph vintage vibes. Vulcan wasn't the only one making a watch like this of the era. So in the modern days, there's plenty of other brands who do something similar, Nevada being one of them. This one does it better than others. I like the bracelet from an aesthetic perspective. The links are huge and there's no half links. So good luck centering the clasp. You kind of have to use the extension system. But it's nice that they include it. All things considered, like Ariel mentioned, this isn't necessarily the watch for someone looking for something all that special. But if you did want this, it does it quite well. It's not, unfairly priced at all.
It does being itself quite well.
Yeah, exactly. It does being this quite well. I do wish 30 minutes on a chrono always seems a little pointless, but it's nice they have it.
Cool. Yeah, I really like it. That's why I give it a hit. I'm a big fan of What did you pronounce? How did you pronounce it? Volcano. How did you pronounce it, Ariel? Vulcan.
Vulcan?
Well, I would say volcane, but that's not how you said it. You said it probably the correct way.
Am I right? I don't know.
Volcan? I have no idea. I'm all for volcan.
I think it's volcan.
That sounds nice. That sounds like the way Guillaume would say it, the guy that owns the company. So, cool. Right. So that's it. We didn't go around the room, so let's quickly go around the room. David, what's on your desk today? Because it's probably not on your wrist.
My good old mural.
Oh, you still got it? Still got the mural?
Still I just picked it up this morning just for fun. I like it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Ariel, what you wearing?
I'm wearing the anniversary Casiotron that came out like a year ago. I like this watch. It's not too big. It's got all the modern stuff like, Bluetooth and solar and all that stuff. It's a lot smaller than your average, it's not a G-Shock. It's Casiotron. So it's like a little bracelet watch with, again, it's shiny and nice, but it's always on time. I dig it. It's a good, what was it, about $500? Is that what these cost?
I think so, like
Retail?
500-600 or somewhere thereabouts.
Excellent. Ripley, who you repping?
I like the Casiotron quite a bit. I am wearing probably the least exciting full metal Casio. It's the G-Shock. It's not full metal. It's got like a hollow bracelet and a metal shell over a plastic core, but it does give you a G-Shock on a metal bracelet for not that much money. So I'm wearing the green one.
Good. And the hat, more importantly?
Oh, yes. We've got Breguet on the hat and the shirt. We have, yes, Ariel and I are matching the Genta bezels.
That's fun.
Breguet making baseball caps seems the least Breguet thing.
It's pretty
in the world.
Pretty classy though. I mean, it's like this tone-on-tone brown. Nice. The brim's got this little brass.
Do you think
there's it looks old-timey.
Do you think there's a baseball cap review show waiting to happen? Possibly
I'm
not.
Horribly underqualified. I just seem to have a lot of them.
Well, that seems to be the qualification for most things. If you own most of them, you get to comment. In Scotland, wearing a panorama. Right. So next up for Hit Miss Maybe. It seems to have been a week for these kind of watches. But so Ariel, take it away with the Bob Square sponge pants, whatever it is. Hands on.
Oh my God, I have to talk more about this?
Bob Square pants, frenemies,
the migraine is back.
Okay, these are both like circa $300 or roughly $300 watches by Spinnaker. I'm not going to go into a long explanation as to why the elements are the way they are. What I will say is this. They clearly have the SpongeBob's SquarePants license. The license has allowed them. The license has allowed them to do apparently anything they want. And they made, I don't know, 4 or 5 collections of watches. This article has 2 of them. Both of them are Falus models. One of them is an automatic, and one of them is a quartz chronograph. The automatic is part of what they call the Frenemies collection, which I am not going to go into because it makes very little sense. But you have what was supposed to be the subsidiary second style of the 8000 Miyota is now a basically transparent disc of burgers flipping. So you have an automatic dive style watch with that on it. But the one that's really insane and psychedelic is sort of this, budget Chaikin Joker, where the chronograph subdials turn into eyes that are loomed. The funny thing is this, and I have to point this out because we'll all get a laugh out of this, even no one else will. This is not sort of a traditional chronograph. One of them is a synchronized 24-hour hand, so it just sort of moves around every 24 hours, which is okay. The chronograph is 60. It's a 60-minute one, but here's the thing, and this kind of drove me crazy. It resets itself after 60 minutes and does not keep going. So if the point is to see the facial expression change all the time, one eye will and the other eye won't. And when both eyes aren't constantly moving, it drives you nuts. So every hour you have to make sure to reactivate the chronograph just to get that effect. That's engagement with your timepiece.
Everything about this watch is driving me nuts. I mean, it's insane. This is
the hands on the face.
Like, yeah, the hands
Are
coming
the
out of
hands on the face? As
Why would you
literal
have
as that is weird to you?
I'm curious about the date. So I assume this character
But
is
it
known.
matches. Perfect.
Yeah,
Why
no,
would you
but
want to know
obviously
the date from SpongeBob SquarePants' face?
That's his
With the
beauty
hands on
mark
it.
date. Don't you know that, David?
Yes, but they've had to move the date from
He's a
4:30
sponge.
in
He's
this
got holes
movement.
in him. Come on.
That's fine. That's true, actually.
The movement would normally have the whole at 4:30 in this, but they've had to move it to whatever time it is. What time is it?
Because of the
7:30,
mouth expression.
because to avoid the mouth expression that's on the character. I think
So
that's
one
ingenious.
asymmetric position over another bothers you, Rick?
No. I'm just. It's just the fact that they've done that. They've gone. Wait,
They
we
cut a
can't.
hole somewhere else in the dial?
That's
Well,
what.
cut
Okay,
the hole
you know
somewhere
the
else,
little
yeah.
things, right? It's the
Nothing.
little
It's the
things. in
little
life.
things. It's the
Why
little
do they
things.
have to write Mecha Quartz Chronograph in that black area at the top of the dial there?
This is a new category. So we have hit, miss, maybe, and kill it with fire. This is
I like
basically
that
it.
the spin. My favorite part here is that all the text on the dial, whether it's the numerals on the bezel or the spinnaker logo, is in the SpongeBob SquarePants universe font. That for
That's
me
amazing.
makes it difficult for me to not like this. It like as
That's
bad
true.
as some of these watches can be at times. They're cheap as hell. They make you
Yeah.
smile, and they
$395.
somehow get half. They get like half the details right. Other half, I'm not so sure.
Why
I
would
think
you
we
put
should-
hands on the face? I don't get it. It's creepy. It's
But it's a watch. You put hands on the face, and then they all laugh, and they think you're clever.
Still. And don't they like have like a square case model somewhere in the Spinnaker universe? I mean, it's SquarePants, and they put it on a round watch. There's so many things wrong with
Look,
this.
I've
It's insane.
designed with someone a long time ago a square SpongeBob watch. I'm ahead of you here, but you know, they're using the floose. I don't know what a floose is. I don't know why they call their watch a floose. I just think
There's
that needs to change. Yeah. Anyhow,
There's
you
a
can't even
I'll
find
have
these
the
on the
flus
website.
with a side of
Oh, there they
peripheral
are.
salmon, please.
There's a blacked out version.
And there's
That's
the blacked
even
out
worse.
version.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to mention that one. It's you remember what was the movie? Sin City. Yes, that's the Sin City version. You remember the
So,
comic style movie Sin
I
City?
do, but wait, can we get into the frenemies concept?
Yes. It's still not going to make sense. In the article, I have the pictures of the other two of them. There's 3 frenemies watches. None of them have anybody fighting. Or more than one character per dial, for that matter.
This is making my nose run. This
Well,
is
it
insane.
looks, I mean, nothing about flipping burgers seems like a frenemy. It looks like he's having a great time cooking
And
on
he
that
loves
dial.
that. If you know the
Yeah.
story, he's not against, he likes that job very much. That defines him.
Yeah, that's why I was confused that that's the frenemies one and it's not this inverted sponge.
I'm not sure. I mean, anyhow, yeah, I don't understand the whole frenemies concept.
Okay. Well,
I think they may
let's
have just added that word in there, and then no one just decided to take it out. They were just like,
no
oh,
one objected.
because
Okay.
no one looks at the names of these products anyways,
Well, I assume
or the
David's,
text on the dial. Any
David's
text related to these watches, no one looks at.
so hit, miss, maybe, or kill it with fire. 1, 2, 3, go. David's just shooting himself.
I can't. It's. I don't know how to just fire.
Flames,
David is
bring
not a
the
fan. I
flames
think that
down.
is the.
Right, so
the outcome
David,
there.
It's a nightmare-inducing watch. I don't think that's a high bar to not be like a nightmare-inducing watch, right? I don't think I have too high expectations here. Look at this. I mean, it just pops on the.
I mean, the brand should be Fears, right?
that's what we want. We want the fierce
This is like,
spinnaker.
how could anyone take 2 steps back from a task, look back at what they had just done, and say, "Okay, let's put it into production." I like Spinnaker.
So like,
I like the fact that
I
they
have
have
a watch where it's
SpongeBob,
like,
but-
I don't know, afraid of spiders or something, but David's fears are cartoons on a watch. And
No. It's a face with hands on it. Is it's not cartoons on a watch.
well, you're having a whole David Fears collection.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ariel. I misunderstood what you just said there. I thought you were relating this to the fears conversation we had earlier on.
I
and
was.
suggesting. Oh, you were. So I think you should email Nick and say, "See the hands on this. This is the kind of hands you need on your watches."
But also
to make
that
them
this would
legible."
be a good brand to do it because it is, it evokes fear. So some people's fears is this. David's fears are wrong application of hands on a dial. David's fear is don't take it to...
I like the fact that this is like rotating on the little sub-dial and it's flipping burgers. That's hilarious. I like the fact that the rotor says 21, not joules, but Krabby Patties, which is hilarious. There was this case back shot where
it's like they have these little redeeming values.
It's growing on you.
It's not all Krabby Patty on the floor. Some of it lands in your mouth.
Right, okay, I know none of these cultural references. Ariel, you gave it a maybe.
Maybe is it? I would wear it once in a while. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I do wear it sometimes. I just am afraid of people seeing me.
Ripley,
it's a maybe. It's fun. I think they have a lot of fun with the SpongeBob whole collaboration. They do. There's so many different versions now. It is nightmare inducing, but it could also be a nice pairing with weapons grade hallucinogens. So I think there could be a time and a place for it. So it's a maybe. If you're looking for a fun SpongeBob watch and don't mind non-anatomically correct SpongeBob's, then don't mind the hands coming through the nose.
Are magic mushrooms used on the battlefield now?
Oh, now they were at one point. That was cutting edge tech in, MK Ultra
All right,
days.
I hear weapons grade. I'm thinking, what do we, who's the enemy here?
Well,
We've covered a lot of ground today.
They are trippy. I do see someone heavily intoxicated in one manner or another deciding this was a good idea.
No, I think the secret is to buy some of these watches, have them in your pocket, go out for a night out with your mates and wait until one of them is thoroughly intoxicated and then strap one of these to the wrist unknowingly, so that they're looking at the wrist, knowing somewhere in their deep subconscious that they don't own a watch, but that now they're seeing this on their wrist, and just see how trippy it gets.
Okay, I have a better idea that kind of goes what you're saying. You know how there was that big problem with people at nightclubs stealing people's watches? Well, let's take a bunch of these watches and unknowingly put them on someone's wrist, but in a way they can't take it off unless they actually cut the strap.
The Hagen lock.
Some type of something. Okay, yeah,
Don't
Hagen
bring
lock
me
it.
to that.
You can unscrew it. But yes, you can Hagen lock it to people's wrists. Therefore, they're drunk and they can't take it off, and they have this watch that's like that is inducing fear that they have to wear.
I can tell you that All Things Christian Hagen is already an early entry for next week's clapping. So
he didn't send a press release to waste our time. Okay, let's not attack him.
Ariel, are you going to be wearing the SpongeBob at Watches and Wonders 2026? I can only assume.
That sounds less like a question and more like a suggestion. So I will bring it.
On the Chanel stand.
Well, nothing makes me more happy when they're handing you a very expensive watch for you to take a photo of, and you take off the one you were wearing
with a white glove,
and they treat it with the same reverence that they would treat the $250,000 piece they just handed you. And it's, please, that's a Floose Spinnaker SpongeBob SquarePants Frenemies.
Careful, that's a limited edition.
Please, let's do that, Nick. Let's do that. Watch and Wonders. Let's all take.
That's a pure silicone strap, okay?
Cheap watches. So they're all everyone's got to wear sleeves, so that when you get handed the Rolex tray for the latest releases, you pull up your sleeve.
Rick, will you wear one of those Timexes of an American national park you've never been to?
Oh, yeah, I am. I didn't cover them this week because I was going to go this for the final hit miss maybe, which also could be, I suppose actually, maybe you get a certain different reaction, particularly in Switzerland, as you would in Scotland, if you wore one of these and took it off next to the Rolex tray, the Markwell Memento Mori watch with Masonic Guild Freemason dial. The question just has to be why, and does anybody care? But we apparently cared enough to write about it. So Ariel, why?
I think because in my early years of looking at watches on eBay as a way of learning about watches early on, I would notice not that rarely these vintage Masonic dial watches. A lot of them were made by companies like Hamilton and others, but there was a whole series of companies and they all had this kind of dial. And I was like, what is that? Who is that for? I mean, I knew what the Masonic Guild was, but just beyond that, I wasn't really clear what this was all about. And someone who is in the Masonic Guild today and who recognized that none of those watches are still being made, decided to make these watches. I don't know that the same requirements exist for getting one like there was in the past of you having to have some status within the Masonic Guild. But now if you're a guild member or had a family member that was, you could get these. And apparently these do okay. Yes, there's a niche market, but it's not like some guy just made up some wacky design and said, oh, I love the Masonic Guild. Like, this actually represents a watch that guild members would have worn in the United States in much of the middle 20th century.
I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be a secret, though. This is hardly keeping your Masonic membership a secret. I'm wearing the watch. It's like your love of SpongeBob SquarePants is being kept a secret. At the time, apparently,
no one looked at each other's watch dials.
Right,
there was a bunch of weird stuff going on dials, and I just don't think, and they were small. Don't get me. Remember when the man was wearing a 33 or 34? No one can see the dial.
Yeah, fair enough. It does strike me that this is waiting for Secon to do something with it, with completely different symbols on it. But there we go. So very quickly then, a hit, a miss, or a maybe.
Wait, what's the price on this one?
Oh, the price on this one is...
It's not that much.
$969, which seems like a kind of secret society number somehow. But $969.
If you're a Mason, do you get
USD.
A discount? Can you send in like box tops, or is there a...
You're asking me? Is that what I know? I don't know.
I'm Scottish and I don't know, and we invented them, so who knows. Right, a hit, a miss, or a maybe. 1, 2, 3, go. Miss, hit, maybe, hits. Why is it a maybe, David?
That's just an interesting topic for a watch
It's
dial.
not giving you a headache.
No, actually, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that it's just like little hour markers on a relatively clean dial with not too much stupid text. I think maybe that's why it's just getting an immediate pass from me.
That's right. It's just a relief watch after the rest of the show's watch hooliganism has worn off.
I'm not sure why we have to blend Remember Death, Memento Mori, and the Freemasons and the Guild.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Didn't get that either.
Conspiracy theory right there.
Yeah. Ariel, can you
plot
apply
a
that
National Treasure 4?
I call it a hit because it's good for what it's trying to be. It's not trying to convince anyone like this is the new sexy design. It's like, if you know what this is, we're making one now, and it's done in a good quality at a price that we agree isn't too expensive. It does look like a vintage watch. It's not as small as the original ones, but the goal was to create a case and a dial and use an affordable architecture that was still good looking. It replicates that experience, and it does it well in an enthusiast-approved way. So again, we all love weird little niche watches. I don't know why we're surprised when one is not for a niche that we understand. So again, it's not for me, but it's good for what it is.
Fair enough, Ripley.
I mean, I like it. I don't think it's objectionable looking. So even if you weren't a Freemason, you can enjoy the weird little pictogram things they have for the hour markers. But it's a way to have an interesting, different watch that if you look up close, it doesn't look like a regular watch, but it's not screaming about it, or like the national park things that have a huge logo just stamped in the middle. At a quick glance, it just kind of looks like a regular dress watch. So for someone, like Ariel said, it succeeds at being the Freemason watch thing, but I think is also an object of design. It looks quite nice. And when you look close, there's all sorts of little things going on, but it's not shouting about the fact that it has any specific ties. So I think it looks quite decent, and it's not too expensive. So that's important. I'd feel differently at $50K.
Yeah, most of us would. Anyway, a miss from me just because it is. Just because we've mentioned it lots in passing. The Timex National Parks watches. I wondered if this was because the Trump administration is defunding the national parks, so they're looking to branch out and get some revenue from somewhere else. Why would you buy a national park watch? Okay, they're $79. Explain to me national parks, Ariel and Ripley. And why you would buy a watch that celebrates.
Do you know what a souvenir is?
Right, you think it's just pure souvenir watches from Timex?
Well,
souvenir, yeah, I suppose.
You go to a nice place, you want a memento of said nice place. You have enough hats.
Okay. So
yeah, they're under $100.
Yeah, this model that they're based on as well, it's the Acadia field watch thing. Wears quite well. Like resin case, solid water resistance. It's a really easy kind of field watch sort of thing. Ariel said it's a souvenir, but think about all the people that have a bumper sticker of one of these crests plastered on their car because they drove through arches once or something like that, or went on a cruise to Denali and barely got off the boat. So people like having that thing that reminds them of the trip. And at $79, I think that's what I paid for a dozen eggs last week. So, I mean, it's really not that expensive.
Fair enough. Good stuff. Right. That's our show for this week. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. If you're listening to this on the podcast, remember you can tune in to see the moving pictures on the YouTube channel at aBlogtoWatch Weekly. At aBlogtoWatch, or you can tune into the live recording, which has some extra bits in it, at aBlogtoWatch Weekly Live, where we generally record around about 7:30 on a Tuesday morning UK time, if you tune in for that. So that's it from us. We might do a little bit extra. You'll have to go to the YouTube channel to find out if there's some extra time today. But other than that, that's it from us. Goodbye.
Bye everyone.